Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A couple weeks ago, I put out a community post that is now deleted for Q&A submissions. I wanted to do another Q&A for 6 years of YouTube, because the last time I did this, I was extremely socially awkward, and I kind of just wanted to do another one, so it's just, you know, a lot better. I just wanted to do something silly for my even bigger community than the one that I had, like, what, almost 4 years ago, actually. Damn. I have quite a few questions here that I wanted to actually go over. I got like a lot more than I was even expecting. But some of them were kind of repeating other questions that were already asked. But in regards of the rest of this silly little thing, I hope you guys stick with me, because this is just something that I thought would be really cute for my community in general, so hope you guys enjoy. To start things pretty simple and plain, I got a question here that's, what's your favorite Mario Kart track of all time? I have quite a few. The ones I can think of off the top of my head are like Wario Coliseum, Choco Island 2, Vanilla Lake 2. Big fan of half of the Bowser Castles, like let's say Double Dash and DS. Crown City's kind of amazing, actually. Although I think my favorite track overall is Frappe Snowland. I just love the you know, snow aesthetic. I love the layout of the track in general. The hazards are pretty decent. I just think it's extremely memorable, and I wish it was, you know, recognized a little bit more, because I feel like, it's like, for one, it is the best retro track in Mario Kart DS, I would say, aside from Sky Garden. I think both of those really carry. Side note regarding Frappe Snowland, there's a remix in Mario Kart World that somebody, like, one of my buds was saying how it sounds like the Family Guy Segway intro, and it kind of pisses me off. Where does the name Noir Heart originate from? I have a lot of influence with a bunch of different factors of what became of my username, but the core inspiration is the Chaos Heart from Super Paper Mario. I just thought it was really cool, you know, the concept of Black Heart and everything, and I wanted to make it more unique, so I was thinking of like more things to add on top of it. One of the things was Haru from Persona 5. Her code name is Noir, and I just thought it was really cool and it sounded nice, and that was the first time I've ever heard of that word in particular, and I just thought, yeah, why not? But most of like the reason why I went with that direction was in Kid Icarus Uprising. During Pit's boss fight with Dark Pit in Chapter 6, he calls Dark Pit a treacherous black heart.
I'm a reflection of your true self, so maybe your faith in her isn't quite so absolute after all.
What would you know about faith anyway, you treacherous blackheart?
And I thought that was really cool, so it was like, I wanted to go with that kind of direction, and then I started thinking about Super Paper Mario with the Chaos Heart, and then I thought of Haru, Persona 5, and I was just like, you know what, I think this is pretty unique enough. I have some other influences that don't matter as much, but are still kind of impactful. It's mostly like characters that are named Noir. How has family and friends impacted your content creation? Family, not so much. Friends, on the other hand, I barely had any growing up, and by the time I was actually fully doing content, I've had some friends in my early days. Well, some friends. I basically had one friend who helped me in my early days with like art and thumbnails and stuff. A lot of those are deleted, except for one being like the earliest video on my channel. At least I think it is publicly. Yeah, so the video Two Idiots Try to Play Sora is like the earliest of my not deleted or privated videos, where one of my buddies was helping me with like thumbnail art in general. And that's kind of helped out, not as much, but still pretty good enough, because it's better than just making a super generic thumbnail. But that was, you know, when I had like very low subs. By the time that I got to a certain point and I met Balamus and a few other people, like Aiden and Nub, MLS, etc., they would help me out with just like some advice on certain directions with content, especially Balamus the most, because I feel like I go to him the most for like actual advice for just a lot of things content related, and just getting like second opinions on people in general, whether or not they are helpful, is still help either way. I know that kind of sounds weird, but it's complicated, but you know, just learning everybody's mindsets on like what they prefer is like a decent video or a bad video or a fucking fantastic video it's still just nice to keep at the back of your head. That's it for that one. But yeah, family, they didn't really give a shit. The only one that really cares super much about my channel in general is my father, at least when it comes to my blood family and everything, where he buys sometimes some of my merch. I didn't really want this, but he supported it anyway. This was kind of like me falling into pressure with like some other people that I've met on the internet, and yeah, I kind of regret it. As for my in-laws, my wife's family, they really do support the way that this has been super impactful as a career in my life in general. I'm very lucky to have this, and I'm lucky to be married into a family that does support me with this. I mean, my family does too, but they like ask questions like all the time about like how this works and just that kind of stuff in general. And I just think that's pretty neat that I'm able to bond with people over something that I never thought I would be able to in the first place. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my my family with support and stuff like that. I feel like my friends have had a bigger impact simply because, you know, it's like directly influencing my work. Although just getting support in general just feels very nice, and again, I'm just really lucky to have this. What job did you do before YouTube, or do you still have a job? I don't have a job anymore. I had a ton a while ago before my video started getting more attention. To summarize the jobs that I had, I worked at Little Caesars, I worked at a hotel, I worked as a staff member in a mess hall for the military. But the biggest job that has impacted my life, both positive and negative, is a local drive-in theater, which is probably where I had the most amount of skill working at a job. But a lot of things were happening within that space that just made me so uncomfortable. But when I did work there, it was like 5 years ago, the summer of 21. That's when I learned how to actually cooperate in the workspace, and it was fine and everything. It was really good. But then when I came back for each year after that, it just progressively got a lot more toxic. Because it is a local drive-in, like majority of the staff is like really old, and at one point one of the rare male coworkers passed away from age, and then another male coworker got demoted to a regular worker because he was one of the managers. And it was at that point where I had no other peers that work with me around like the same age or the same gender at all. So it kind of just led to a bunch of like very sexist situations where I would just be scolded for something that wasn't even remotely close to my fault, just because I'm the only man there. And men take the blame for pretty much everything, and it kind of sucks. That theater was the last job that I had in the summer of 2024, and it's kind of like one of my worst work experiences ever. But one of the interesting situations that was happening around the time was we got, what's that movie called? Give me a second. Deadpool and Wolverine. That was by far the biggest movie that we have gotten pre-order tickets for in years. And everybody was extremely confident that this was going to be hell for us workers, because we had to worry about getting a bunch of orders in advance and all of that, just stocking up a lot and working like extremely hard. But that same weekend was when my channel started getting more attention from the Mario Wii randomizers, and that kind of shot up my serotonin so high that I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I made it through all of that. just all of the hard work with Deadpool and Wolverine, because all I could think about was how happy I was that my channel was not dead anymore. So that was really cool, and after I quit, I've been doing YouTube ever since. It's been almost 2 years, and I've been jobless, but I've been living off of YouTube, and I get more money than I work regular jobs anyway. The curse of living in the rural areas of New York. Low pay, low hours, it genuinely fucking sucks, and I get advice every once in a while from family members that I should try getting a real job at some point, but what they don't understand is I don't get paid enough to do any of that, and doing this video right now, that's not going to do that well because it's mostly just for my community and doing something silly. I'm getting paid more to do this anyway. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's just how it is up here. Like, money is just so hard to get nowadays. Like, in general, everywhere. But, like, when there's not that many job opportunities and nobody wants to fucking hire you, it's just a terrible risk I'm not willing to take. Like, I'm a married man. I can't go back to that kind of stuff. So then I'm just doing this now. I don't really know how else to explain it, but I am still, like, extremely grateful that I'm being given the opportunity that I have been for the last couple years, and I'm just grateful for your guys' support, all in all. Because for the last 2 years, I have been jobless, and I hope it stays that way, actually. Which other games do you wish to play or see in the future? In regards of playing, like, on the channel, I mostly kind of just want to go through, like, Monkey Ball the most, because Monkey Ball 2 is probably one of my favorite games ever, simply for the fact that, like, the gameplay loop in general is just so satisfying. As for other games, I have a huge backlog of games that I really can't think of much off the top of my head, and the only things I can think of are, like, Kirby's Forgotten Land, or Kirby and the Forgotten... I forget what it's called because I don't care. I haven't really been super into that kind of gameplay style, as well as Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I was having a blast with that. I just kind of fell off, mostly because I was working on a bunch of other projects at the time, but I would definitely love to go back to that eventually at some point. Video-wise, I'm not sure. I just love to do what I want to do. Like, fucking Mario Sports Mix. I've been really wanting to do that for the channel. I would love to do, let's say, like, the Star Road thing in Star Cup. I would love to do that with Balamus and Nub. That's basically the content that I would love to try to do at some point in the future. I just don't really know when, because I have, like, 6 other videos that I still need to work on. 2 of them I haven't worked on in 6 fucking months, and those are going to be the next 2 that I focus on after this, so sorry about that, guys. What's your favorite game of all time, and what led to you eventually trying out said game? Other than Super Monkey Ball 2, since that was, like, the very first game I ever played in my life, Persona 5, I have always had interest in that ever since I was watching Alpharad and Relax-A-Lax back in, like, 2017, where Joker was, like, the character that they always wanted in Smash Bros. Ever since Smash Ultimate was announced. Sorry, that was 2018, not 17, my fault, gang. But yeah, they were, like, talking about how much they wanted Joker in Smash, and how fluent Persona 5 is as a game, and how nice it looked and everything, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Because, like, they kind of influenced me that I wanted to try it out at some point. And then Joker was announced for Smash Bros. And I'm like, okay, now I actually have to do this. The worst part is, I didn't have a PS4, and Persona 5 was on the PS3. It's not the best experience, but it's still so fun, so I kind of don't care. Persona 5 is definitely one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. I would say top 3. I don't think anything is ever going to make me dislike it. I could get fatigue every once in a while, but when I get back into it, I really get back into it. Persona 5 is just one of the best games I've ever played, and it's like a game I recommend to anybody. It's like Persona 5, Monkey Ball 2. That's pretty much the only 2 that I have off the top of my head so far, but those are amazing. Fire Emblem Echoes is the best Nintendo game I've ever played. It's got, like, one of the best stories ever. I just love it. Where exactly do you see yourself in 10 years' time? I would love to say $1 billion mansion because I'm such a cool YouTuber. But it's kind of just thinking realistically, I'm not really too sure. I either end up in a decent kind of home in a decent area with my wife and all of that, or I just end up in the McDonald's parking lot with another McChicken. What inspired you to do that goofy laugh from your older videos? See, I didn't have any inspiration. That was back when I was at like 60 subscribers total, and I really just felt like I wasn't gonna get anywhere because as I was going through all of my job troubles that I was mentioning before, my wife and I moved out to a low-income apartment, and while I was trying to wait for responses from job places in general, is when I was inspired by a content creator to do videos again, and the videos that I was watching in particular were Mario U, in which I don't really give too much shit about Mario U as a whole, but his personality really helped out with getting inspiration to try again. So then that's when I got inspired to start doing Luigi U. And I was still at like 60 subscribers at the time, so I went into this thinking this is probably not going to work out. And because like the very first Luigi U video I did, I spoke kind of calmly. Like I tried to do commentary, but since this was like right after we moved in, I was worried of getting a noise complaint if I were to be slightly loud. But then starting with the World 3 videos, when I started to get pretty quirky, and yeah, that's when I started doing those laughs, in which I kind of just came up with those on the fly. I had no inspiration of what type of bit to go with. I just knew Nintendo really liked this hidden Luigi bit, so I'm just gonna act stupid and embrace the bit. Turns out it ended up being one of my favorite jokes ever. But then I found it really funny that once my channel from that started actually getting like a small amount of attention is when I kept getting compared to the live action Cat in the Hat, and it was such an amazing description. But yeah, I just didn't have any inspiration or anything to actually go like make me do that kind of laugh. I just did it because I thought it was funny. I was also extremely stupid at the time, and I'm really glad I don't do that type of content anymore. Favorite franchise beside Mario? I never said that Mario was my favorite franchise to begin with. It's just a really easy franchise to make videos off of. But overall, my actual favorite franchise is Fire Emblem. I just love Fire Emblem. I love pretty much almost every single entry in that game. I recently played through the GBA titles, but yeah, I just love Fire Emblem so much. I love its gameplay loop. I'm currently playing through Engage in my own time, and it's pretty silly and fun and quirky, and silly and fun and quirky. If you could collab with any YouTuber, who would it be and why? I would say Alpharad, because that he's like the start of like he's pretty much my biggest inspiration for doing YouTube to begin with. I have another creator in mind, being Attacking Toucans, who inspired like a really neat way of doing YouTube content, being like taking two casual players and making them go through an entire game like 100%, and it's just like, it's really interesting, and that's just something like the very first type of content I've ever got hooked onto. And for years I wanted to do that myself, for about like 15 years now, actually. I think 14, 15, I'm not really too sure. But that kind of content is a little outdated nowadays, and it kind of makes me sad because I really wanted to do something like that. But yeah, those are my two answers right there, is Alpharad and Attacking Toucans. That's basically it. I would like to like see if I could get with like other creators like Ouija, King of Skill, Josh Jepson. Yeah, those are all my picks, honestly. Pancakes or waffles is necessary. I fucking hate waffles. I'm a pancake guy. Any advice for people like me who want to try becoming a content creator and streamer? Pick your friends wisely, because while I got a lot of friends like, let's say, Balamus, Nub, Aiden, MLS, Cyan, Dolphin, just to name a few, I also met a lot of clout chasers and groomers. Not the greatest people to be around. In regards of like building your channel, like artwork related stuff, I would say either try to do that on your own or find somebody to do it for you that is extremely reliable. Because I made a huge mistake, and other than the fact that like my wife helped me out with like my profile and everything, I had another friend who wanted to help me build my channel, who was an artist and everything, and lied to me saying that the intro that they made for me that I used for a year or two, they basically said that the voice was some guy in some kind of New Jersey commercials and was super happy that they ended up getting the guy for $20 to say Noir hard, game on, depression gone for a lot of my videos. They lied to me saying that it was that instead of AI, so I used AI for a whole year without realizing it, and I feel really stupid for it. I'm fairly positive I went back to get rid of those intros. If I didn't, then I'm gonna keep going after I'm done recording this, actually, because I just really don't like that, you know? That's pretty much it, and I can't really give advice when it comes to like the content that you want to make. Just go with trial and error. Whatever you make and you end up liking it, keep doing it, but if you don't like it, try to do something different. It's kind of like a hands-on experience. You won't like automatically know what you want to do because you're like watching somebody else do it. It'll hit you a lot differently when you do it yourself, and I learned that in a very unique way. Then again, everybody does, so, you know. But that's all that I have to say regarding that. Just, careful who you trust, and, just keep trying different things until you find something that you really want to stick with. Favorite voice actor and character they voiced? Hard mode, you can't say Robbie Daymond or Matt Mercer. Well, it is Robbie Daymond. I love his performance with a lot of things, especially as Goro Akechi in Persona 5. But following your little rules here, my favorite voice actor, I would probably say Laura Stahl, only because she did 2 roles of characters that I love, being female Alear in Fire Emblem Engage and Toadette in the Switch 2 Mario titles so far. I know that's kind of like a generic answer, it's just 2 characters, but it's like, she kind of does a really good job as these 2, and I'd love to see what else she does, and Toadette is just my comfort character, so that's kind of a given at that point. What has been the funniest moment during your time as a YouTuber? Good question. I don't really think I have one. I just have a lot of just really fun memories in general with my channel, whether it just be like full YouTube videos like my Nightmare series, or just other kind of videos in general, like the Yeah I Smash videos that I did with Nub and mostly Balmus. The Luigi U series was very silly. Anything that I do with my wife is very, very silly, and I love my wife and she's very fun. One of my favorite videos in general is the very first Minecraft video that I did in December of 22. One of the worst videos I ever did, but I just thought it was really funny when I said,
actually, Noir, when you're playing survival, you should play Java Edition. You shouldn't play Bedrock because Bedrock is bad. And when you play survival, you have to get a crafting table to make yourself an axe and a sword, so then you can beat bad guys like that fucker right there.
how about you craft some bitches and a copy of Persona 5? I thought that was very funny. I'm very proud of that bit. One of my favorites ever. Favorite game console, whether it be memories made with one or even just having a lot of games I'd like to know. Honestly, my favorite console is the Wii U. I just love the aesthetic of the Wii U in general. The menus are very nice to look at. The games I feel very, very nostalgic for. Nintendo Land in particular is like the one game that it's like the best with the gamepad. Like, I just feel like they do so much with it. Along with like Mario and Sonic Sochi and Rio, I am a huge fan of those games. Those are probably my favorite games in the series. Sure, they're not as great objectively as the 2 prior, but I don't care, actually. Like, Winter Sports Champions Race is probably one of my favorite things to actually do in a video game ever. I just love the way that the mechanics work for that particular minigame. And Rio is one of my actual favorite games ever. It's one where I got to connect with family members that I genuinely fucking despise, but it was still nice to actually have very small moments where I got to spend time with those family members, so at least I have some form of happiness with them. despite, like, the fact that I genuinely hate their fucking guts in and out. Because, like, they're some of the worst people in my entire life, but making some positive memories with them was, honestly nice, and I kind of wish I just got to do that more in general, but life can be brutal. What's the hardest part of being Noir hard that viewers don't see or understand enough? Where I would give an answer about something that I will be doing, and then I get ignored for it. For example, we finished up the Nightmare Mario Wii series, and at the end of the World 5 video, I was stating that Meiro is currently working on World 6. And if she doesn't do it after all, then World 5 is the finale. And World 6 is still not done, and I'm being harassed to do World 6 anyways. I'm even getting told to do World 6 from people that haven't even watched the series. I think that's pretty much it, other than the fact that, like, you know, life happens and I can't do constant videos all the time, especially with other creators. Like, let's say I have friends like Balamus, who got done with college and he's just trying to move everything back together into his own home, or Aiden, who's not even at his home for a while anyway, and it's just like, hey, can you do this and that with these guys? And I'm just like, okay, they're kind of like not here, so I kind of can't do anything. And then I would try to do content on my own, and let's say I want to do like a solo challenge video, like I've been doing the Double Dash with no hit, and I still get asked for other creators, specifically the ones I already mentioned along with Nub, to join in on the solo challenges without, you know, thinking twice that it's a solo challenge for a reason. So then it just leads to like this feeling that I get every once in a while, and by once in a while I mean like all the fucking time, where I'm not cared for, and it's mostly just the games I play or the people I spend time with. And that kind of sucks, because those same people who want to see other creators don't even go to their channels anyway, and it's just kind of ridiculous to me. How did you and Ray meet? I've been getting this question in particular a lot ever since I made that community post, and it's kind of an interesting long story, where one of my old buddies at the time that I don't really talk to anymore, he noticed that I was going through quite a bit of stress. I was in a very dark spot over 5 years ago, like 5.5 at this point now, where I kind of almost did a really funny thing that was not funny, actually, and I almost put myself 6 feet under. After all of that, he helped me try to recover by having me join in this Discord server of his friends and such, and one of those people was Ray, and I got to a point where it's like most of my depression was the fact that I wasn't in a relationship, and whenever I was at school, I would see that there would be like a lot of other students around my age who are just making out with each other in public, and it just kind of felt like I could never just get any love in general, especially since what I went through in my childhood was kind of extremely rough. So I kind of just got to a point where I just said fuck it, and I tried to, you know, think about my own future, and I was just trying to find any way to make my content work, to, you know, get into a better spot in life. But then I uploaded one video that's privated now, because I'm not too big a fan of it. And it was Ray who texted me saying, great video, I loved watching it. And I just thought, I don't know, it was just a very weird feeling, especially since we didn't really talk that much before that. And the only other time that I would talk to her, since we barely met, was when I was talking to the entire group in general. So getting that specific message from her made me feel a lot more positive about myself, because I knew that she was already in a relationship at the time, But after that moment is when I started talking to her a lot more, and we got to know each other a bit. But then one day, she texted me saying that she broke down crying at her job, saying that she realized that I gave her a lot more attention than her current partner, who didn't want to give her attention because he was too busy playing Genshin Impact. So she kind of broke up with him and immediately started dating me. That's when I started getting a lot more passionate with my life in general. I started putting more effort into graduating high school. I got a job, I got my driver's license, and I saved up nearly $3,000 from the entire summer to go visit her, and she visited me as well. I spent 1 week in California, she spent 1 week in New York, and watching her leave New York, watching her go through security and disappear from my vision was probably some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, thinking that I was never going to see her again. Thankfully, she moved to New York like a month later, and if that never happened, then I don't really know what I would do, honestly, because after finally being able to spend real time with her in real life, it felt so empty without her. But ever since then is when I started like struggling with jobs, but I still had her with me, and she supported me no matter what I did, even if she got like extremely stressed for helping me out and all of that. And if it wasn't for her support, then I wouldn't be continuing with YouTube, which was when I started getting the inspiration to try again with Luigi U. So overall, it's really because of her that I feel like I have been successful as I've been. Otherwise, I just don't know where I would be, unless if it's 6 feet under. So that's pretty much my story with my wife, and after 4 years, we got married, and here we are a year after that, and it's still bizarre to me that I'm even married in the first place. It's just a very, very weird feeling. This was probably the most popular question I got, was how I met my friends. When I opened up my server and everything after my Luigi U series ended, is when I met Balamus. Nub joined in shortly after, but we never really talked that much at all, at least not for a little bit. Because what happened was Balamus's channel was recommended to my For You page on YouTube and everything. I gave one of his videos a shot, and I was just sitting there just shocked at how well the video was made. And then I look into who it was, and then I realized, oh, this is Balamus. This is the guy that just joined my server like 2 weeks ago. And then I noticed that his sub count was at 28, and I was just sitting there shocked, like, this much effort into a video at 28 subscribers? It was genuinely insane to me. So then that's when I started getting interested in his content, and it was just kind of shocking that, like, he found my stuff before I found his, and we started, like, talking a bit. We did some videos together. And that's when Nub went to Balamus saying, hey, you just did a video with one of my favorite creators. Do you want to join in with me on something? And then that's when they started doing Minecraft together and a few other things. And that's when Nub and I started talking, eventually, finally. During all of that time, like, near the end of, like, 2023, or early 2024, I really can't remember, is when Lethal Company started getting, pretty big. And one of the creators that I've done a video with so far is Nintendo Novice, who you guys might know as like the leader of Team Green in the Mario Kart World video. And that was when I was dog sitting for my mother, and I was bored and I wanted to check out his stream for a little bit while he was going at it for a while, and he knew that I was a content creator, and after getting to know each other a little bit, he asked me if I wanted to join this private Discord server of a bunch of content creators, and I joined it, and that's when I met Cyanize, Mystic, MLS, and a few others that I can't really remember who I met in there off the top of my head, but that's where I met pretty much half of the group that I you know, fuck with now, you know. Before all that though, in like 2023 when I was starting streams and stuff during the summer, is when I did a stream of Mario Sports Mix, and one of the viewers that I had was Nova, who does My Singing Monsters content, and he stuck around for a while because he just had like insane nostalgia of Mario Sports Mix, since he just loves that game a lot, and I love it too. It's pretty fucking peak. He stuck around with the channel just because he liked my vibe and everything, and he was part of the Mario Kart World video I did back in September as well. He was part of my team because I'm the GOAT, and my team won because I'm the GOAT. And another member of that team is Decisive Dolphin, who I found in my comment section, and I checked out his channel, and he was really chill, and that's when I just started talking to him and everything, and he was also invited to the same Discord server, and we just kind of all did some silly fucking around and stuff. Vertigo was another member within my community for a while, who was another content creator, and he was also invited into the same server, and that's when Vertigo, Sign, and I did a Mario Wii video of like Invisible Floor, and then I think the last person that I really want to like talk about in regards of like making friends was Mayro, in which I did Nightmare Mario Wii with Balamus, Nub, and Aiden, which, fun fact, that was the first time Aiden has ever been in a call with Balamus and Nub, and we all just clicked, like, immediately fast. Like, it's just insane. But after the World, I want to say 3 or 4 video, probably 4 actually, is when Mayro reached out to me and asked if we could do, like, some collabs and stuff. And I was extremely on board, and that's when I asked her if she wanted to join in for the Mario Kart World video. And ever since then, we just clicked, and she's one of my best friends ever. Insane. Never thought I would get there, by the way. But yeah, those are pretty much, like, all of the creators that I've met and do content stuff with, and I am extremely grateful for everybody's support. I'm grateful for meeting all of them. It's just I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for my wife, so she gets the highest amount of praise, because if not for her, I would have never met these amazing people. And I'm just at a point where it's just like, I could never make another friend for the rest of my life, and I think I'm just set, honestly. Like, I'd love to meet more people, but I love the ones that I have now, and I wouldn't give them up for the world. What has been your favorite moment of your journey glowing up, and what do you want to achieve to do for the future? I just want to get to a decently high sub count. Like, let's say I hit like 1 million. That's pretty much my biggest dream. I would really love that. I just want to prove that I can be somebody. My favorite moment though, despite the fact that I really don't like making Mario Wii content, like in that moment when I was having like difficulties with my shitty dead-end job, it just really genuinely saved my life. I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for that, because jobs are just so hard to come across nowadays. They just don't like hiring people. It kind of sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that. The final question of the video for today is one that's going to be extremely personal. Probably the most personal answer that I have to give is when I first started liking Toadette. I can't really remember my age too well of when I started liking Toadette, but when I was a kid, I had a bunch of physical and mental health conditions. I have autism, and I was born with, what's it called again? I think it's plantar fasciitis, I think it's called. I don't really remember. Hold on, let me look it up really quick.
Plantar fasciitis.
Okay, it's plantar fasciitis. Okay. So I was born with plantar fasciitis, heel spurs, and before I was born, I had scoliosis as a fetus. But it was really difficult back then for me to pretty much do any basic human function Like, I couldn't really walk around anywhere for like a good 5 minutes without my feet being in like severe pain. I kind of have some like pain in my hands as well, depending on like the certain activities that I would use with those. Like, let's say like painting, for example. That would be really painful as well. Not as painful as like standing and walking, but it was still pretty bad. And my mother knew that I was just not happy with my life, with not really being able to do much as a kid, and she knew that it was kind of rough for me because of how I didn't talk. I was a mute autistic child, so all that I really did was either cry, laugh, or yell when somebody would piss me off and such. And I had a dipshit brother back then, not like the one that's like, oh, tough brotherly love, but more so psychopath. My family has like no contact with him anymore. But because of influences like that, my mother knew that it would be really hard for me to try normal human things, so she had me try out games, and specifically a lot of games from like the GameCube and Super Nintendo. And one of those was Mario Kart Double Dash, where I wasn't, because like I wasn't really the greatest at games in general, but I still had a lot of things to actually practice with. But by the time I like started to learn how to play games a lot better is when I unlocked Toadette for the very first time in Double Dash. And because like my thing was, I didn't really give a shit about characters that I would play as in games. But when I unlocked Toadette, she had such a unique character design right off the bat that I was like instantly hooked on. And when I started playing as her, I loved her voice and all of that. And it's mostly because of that character is when I finally started getting the confidence to finally unmute and start talking. My mother noticed that I started really liking this character a lot, and it kind of helped me opening up because I was, again, a mute child, but her personality really helped me get the confidence to attempt to start speaking. That's when I started like really doing a lot better with walking and basic human functions. And I don't think I would get as far as I did without my achievement of unlocking Toadette. And it was at a point where I feel like if I didn't have that kind of experience, I would just still end up mute. I feel like my health conditions could have probably gotten a lot worse, because since I was a very inactive kid all the way back then, I was just progressively gaining weight. And because I started finally opening up and started talking and everything is when I wanted to be a lot more active. So that's when I started trying out school sports like baseball and basketball. That's when I started getting more friends and doing a lot better with my academics, and I just don't think I would get as far without that first achievement of unlocking this character in a child's video game. So now whenever I see Toadette, the first thing I think of is my mother's passion for helping me grow up. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me that I could think of in regards of video game characters and how much they have impacted me. And yeah, I just I feel like it's kind of heavy. Somebody, like, other people could just easily brush it aside as like some kind of babyish reasoning for liking fucking Mario character, but that's just how I am. I don't really give a shit about what other people think about me in regards of this. But one of my biggest sources of comfort within this community is ever since my wife did the thumbnail for that Mario Party rematch. I didn't even ask her to do it, but she ended up making a Toadette art with like representing like my channel as a whole. And I just thought that was like really cool. It's just something I wasn't expecting at all. But ever since that video uploaded is when I got like a bunch of fan art from a ton of my Discord members of just constant Toadette art of the exact same style, and it's just amazing. And I'm just really grateful that I get to have a community where I can be comfortable with expressing my favorite character without feeling judged. Because that was one of my biggest regrets when I started doing YouTube, was if you went back into like really old videos with like games with characters where I could easily pick Toadette, you could notice that I picked Mario or some other stuff like that. Maybe I haven't done that in those videos. The only big example that I can really think of is Luigi U, where I could have picked Toadette, but I do remember saying like it's not the right experience, which it kind of really isn't. So that's like the one time I excuse not picking her, because she kind of is the easy mode of the game. I'm not doing that anymore. If I ever went back to Luigi U, I'm picking Toadette again because I think that's silly. But now I feel a lot more comfortable with my likeness, I guess, for Toadette, and I'm just really grateful that I don't really have that many people that judge me for it. But then when there's people that judge me for it, I literally say, oh, your favorite game is Mario Wii, go fuck yourself. Anyways, yeah, that's the entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and such. This is Pomni Digital Circus. I'm gonna go watch the thingy in theaters in like what day is it today? Today's June 2nd, so I'm watching it in 2 days. I'll let you know if it's good.